The John, Anik, and Kenny Florian podcast. John, Anik, and Kenny Florian.
I fucking love them. I can't get enough of them.
Let's hear that Boston next.
Big jab there from Duffy, and Frank Mir is hurt now. Down goes Duffy, out cold. Frank Mir does it again. Rock'em sock'em robots here. Oh my goodness.
Hyperbole.
There are a couple of absolutely self-involved bullshit artists.
Here are your hosts, John, Anik, and Kenny Florian.
Nothing to talk about, right? Absolutely nothing to talk about. We'll try to bring you a show anyway. Great to have you with us in video or audio form. It is episode 319 of the Anik and Florian podcast. It's Monday, October 4th, 2021. Kenfo looks like he is home in Charlotte, North Carolina. Is that where you're doing all this jiu-jitsu training with these elite guys, getting ready for the no-gi worlds? I mean, it's like, Cody, we got to get our Kenny Florian breaking news on Instagram. This guy's training for the fucking no-gi worlds, but now I'm glad we know that
now. Yes, I have been training and getting ready for that. The training's been awesome. Been training with Lucas Lepre, one of the greatest jiu-jitsu guys.
Yes,
one of the greatest jiu-jitsu competitors to ever do it. So that's been a lot of fun, and training with him and all of his students and getting ready. And I take off to Dallas, Thursday, and then I'll be competing Friday.
All right. No-gi World Championships are this Friday, you're telling me. I got to be in Dallas.
Yeah, Friday and Saturday. Oh, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I think the old guys. I'm competing with the old guys, of course.
Yeah, so what is the bracket here? What bracket? I mean, obviously black belt, but what bracket?
Yeah, so I got it's called Masters 3 or whatever. So
okay.
I'll be the oldest of that age group. Let's see, I think we're going to go at it on Friday. So I get the brackets released on the 6th. That's that Wednesday.
That is Wednesday.
So
yes.
I'll find out what the heck I need to do to get through and win this thing.
Outstanding. This is great. You know, nobody loves it when Ken Flo's competing more than me. So you don't have to bring a gi, which is nice. You can leave that home. Is this at 185 pounds or what are we doing here?
Yeah, exactly. So I'm 185 pounds. I typically compete at middleweight.
Right.
Middleweight, which is up to 175 pounds.
Right.
This is called middle heavy, which goes up to 188 pounds.
Okay.
So I don't have to cut weight or anything like that.
Okay.
So I was going to go down. Just got a little, I had too much stuff going on. Wasn't able to get on top of it with losing weight. I'm coming, dude, for this whole pandemic at my heaviest. And this is talk about breaking news.
Yeah.
This is breaking news. I was 207 pounds.
How about that? I was going to get
207 pounds. You could probably see it on the podcast with my face about that wide. But anyway, so I've been slowly getting down to a normal weight.
Yeah, you're looking lean and mean. Go back to episode 312, folks, if you want.
Yeah.
Fat
oh my God.
By the way, TJ Dillashaw sells Fat Tyler t-shirts. I think I'm going to buy one as soon as we get off the air. So in terms of your cardiovascular base, I did not intend to lead the show this way. So is it just the jiu-jitsu training or will you uptick the cardio stuff and run leading up to the no-gi worlds?
Yeah, so I've been doing strength and conditioning 2 days a week with the Exos guys, I guess formerly the Exos guys.
Right.
So I do strength and conditioning, and that's been kicking my ass. And I always find that helps keep me healthy and strong and in shape. So got to keep the back healthy, dude.
Strength and conditioning and jiu-jitsu are the same insofar as you can't stop doing either if you want to survive, right? It's
dude.
Once you start lifting weights, right? You got to keep going.
And that's what happened. I did nothing. I wasn't doing anything. I was just eating Southern food and listening to podcasts and reading. That was all I was doing.
So can I ask you how your son's doing, right? I mean, you obviously got a baby during all of this, huh?
Yeah, he's doing great, man. He continues to grow. He's growing out of his little his little crib and now into the big crib. And he's sleeping a little better. So he's doing good, man. I'm excited.
My son's fucking tiny. He needs some size, I keep
he didn't get my genetics. You know what I mean? He got Clark's genetics, hopefully.
No, I mean, Clark's dad's a beast, no doubt.
Yeah.
So hopefully he can get some of that maternal grandfather genes. But my son's tiny, right? I keep telling him, it's bro, I'm bigger and stronger than you now. It's you got some of your mom's Polish hoss jeans, so maybe like you'll be able to like throw me around at some point, but it's like right now, like this dude, and everything's a battle right now. Not that people signed up to listen to this today, but everything's a battle. Like today, this morning, like I don't even want to be like trying to feed the kids a battle, trying to get him dressed is a battle. Trying to get him in the car seat even today. Like I get a lollipop before 8 a.m. Eastern, whatever it takes,
Right.
whatever it takes.
Man.
All right. A lot to get to in headlines. Ray Longo is going to join us at some point in time, and Cody's just going to pop him on the screen because he has a lot to say. So it was UFC Fight Night, Santos versus Walker at that little UFC Apex. Always interesting after a big pay-per-view when they go back to the UFC Apex, just in terms of the visual aesthetic as a viewer. Main event was Thiago Santos over Johnny Walker by unanimous decision. But that is not our lead talking point today. In the co-main event at middleweight, no contest due to an accidental clash of heads between Kevin Holland and Kyle Dawkins. But anyone who watched the fight on ESPN Plus knows that after that accidental clash of heads, Ken Flo, Dan Miragliotta sort of motioned for replay, but he did not stop the fight as he is supposed to do. So ultimately, we're dealing with major referee error here on a Monday morning that resulted in some way, shape, or form a win being taken away from Kyle Dawkins. Now, certainly, I think most people believe that the right verdict or decision was reached, that this should have been a no contest, and had it been stopped when Kevin Holland was knocked out from the accidental clash of heads, then it wouldn't be an issue. But, Kyle Dawkins has offensive submission ability. It ain't his fault that he fucking chokes the guy out. So if I'm Dawkins, I'm pissed. A lot of layers to this in terms of replay being used, but perhaps improperly. I printed out a bunch of stuff to read to you. I've been diving into the rules. What do you have for us on that, Kenny Florian?
Okay, so this was not an easy situation to deal with, right? Of course, the ideal situation, Dan saw the headbutt, and should have stopped it at that point. Ask Kevin Holland if he was okay to continue. When you're in situations where someone gets hit with a groin shot, where someone, there's an accidental groin shot, there's an accidental headbutt, there's an accidental whatever, and you see that it didn't affect the fight, and the fighters continue to go at it, a lot of times at the referee's discretion, they let him go at it. Sometimes you get a referee that sees that, especially something like this, where there's that flash knockout, right, where he dropped, they stop the fight. And Dan Miragliotta saw that headbutt in real time. So that wasn't the issue. It wasn't like he didn't see it. He saw it and allowed it to continue. He should have stopped, see if Kevin Holland was okay to continue, and then the fighters could have gone about their business. That did not happen. He saw that Kevin Holland continued to fight. Kevin Holland did. It's not like that directly led to the rear naked choke opportunity straight off the bat. Was Kevin Holland hurt? And, he talked about that. I trust that he was hurt and he didn't remember that stuff. Okay, that's fine. But how do you judge whether someone can continue or not if they're out there fighting their ass off? He got out of 2 submissions, and this was my issue. He escaped 2 submissions prior to that rear naked choke, then eventually succumbed to that back position where Kyle Dawkins was able to get the rear naked choke. So there's just, like you said, there's a lot of layers to the situation, and this isn't ideal. If a fighter continues to go and the other fighter continues to fight, he goes out there, gets the submission, and then you decide to just rewind the clock, go back to that incident. For me, it was just, I don't know. A lot of that just didn't make sense. And I think that, judging things of like, oh, that's exactly what led to the rear naked choke. I don't know. The guy's fighting. He's moving. He's looking fine. He escaped those 2 submissions. How do you quantify that? And how do you quantify that in that short amount of time? I think that's tricky as well. We saw what happened with Merab. Clearly, that wasn't an accidental headbutt or an illegal strike that took place. Yeah. But he was continuing to fight. Brian Ortega was asked by Herb Dean whether he can continue. He answers 3 incorrect questions or 2 incorrect questions. On the 3rd, he finally gets it, and they allow him to fight. So I don't know. The whole thing is just very confusing.
So let's start with headbutt versus clash of heads. It's very important in terms of the terminology that we say clash of heads and we don't use headbutt, right? We're very careful to not use headbutt on the broadcast because that, while not implying intent, I guess doesn't apply to this situation. So John McCarthy is the authority for me on this stuff. He's where I go immediately, right? So if you go to my Twitter page, I retweeted what he had to say about it. Here's one tweet, though, from him. In terms of the UFC officials being a part of the discussion octagon side, look like Mark Ratner, Sean Shelby over there. So John McCarthy said, no, honestly, they should not be a part of the discussion, but I don't blame them for wanting to be there and make sure that a fair and just decision is adjudicated. Many times unjust decisions are levied, and it's the promotion who ends up dealing with the nasty aftermath, right? So promotionally, you're dealing with, right? Like Dawkins, does he deserve his win money? Putting the fight back together. There's implications for all parties that are involved. Okay. But as far as Dan Miragliotta is concerned, and again, these are my contemporaries in a lot of respect, right? I share fucking shuttles to the hotel and the arena with these people. I have to deal with all of these people. And you can be sure when I MC the weigh-in for UFC Fight Night this Friday, I'm going to walk right up to the commissioner, my man Jeff, and I'm going to ask him how this all went down. Because Dan Miragliotta, I'm not sure that he saw it as a headbutt. Honestly, Ken Flo, I went back and watched it this morning. He didn't instinctively react right away. Yes, he called for replay maybe 5 or 6 seconds later, but in a UFC Apex where Daniel Cormier is shouting, it's not out of the realm of possibility that Dan Miragliotta heard somebody say, oh, it's a clash of heads or whatever the fuck, right? And then reacted. So then he goes down and he's talking to Herb Dean and the commissioner Jeff, and then you see Dan Miragliotta say, just leave it the way it is, right? Just leave it the way it is, right? And then they reverse course. So what's going on here? Okay. Respectfully, right? I'm a fan, right?
Right.
But like, obviously I work for the UFC, but like, what is going on here? What is the deal with replay? Does Herb Dean as the review official hold all the power? Some tweets from Aaron Bronstetter, great journalist who I probably should have booked on the show today. I do not feel that the correct procedure based on the current NSAC guidelines were followed. Item 4 of NAC 467.82 states that replay is to be used when a bout is stopped immediately because of an injury. The fight continued, and per item 5, a timeout was never called, right? So I think Dan Miragliotta instinctively was saying, just leave it the way it is, because I think he knows as a veteran referee, even though replay is still somewhat new, that you can't just reverse course just to get it right. You know, I don't know, man.
John, especially when there was a few exchanges prior to that submission. It was an odd thing. And also, you know, Miragliotta was totally prepared to go out there and, like you said, leave it the way it is. But then kind of Herb Dean came into the situation and said, oh, you know, well, there's some other options. If you feel like, you know, you want to go out there and just give it a no contest, you can go ahead and do that.
Yeah.
I don't know. The more you kind of, you know, have other officials or other people come into the situation, it's now no longer that referee's decision in a lot of ways. And I don't know, it can get really tricky as far as when you're going to decide on something like that, of having other people or other officials come in and kind of this group effort to come with this final decision. It's just, I don't know. It's weird, and it can be influenced very easily, in my opinion. And that's what I didn't like about it. I'm not saying, you know, it was a horrible decision the way it went down. I'm just concerned with what kind of precedent this sets, and how much time can we go back in time now? You know, if we talk about a headbutt that happened, and I go, you know what I mean? It's just, I don't know. It was a tricky situation, no doubt about it. But I don't know. It seemed like everyone was just cool with calling it a no contest, but I don't know. Something just rubbed me the wrong way about it, and I was just going to voice my opinion. And people were trying to tear me apart on Twitter, and it's like, guys, both these guys are in this fight. Both these guys were affected by this collision of headbutts, and of course, Kevin Holland took the worst of it, and it was a horrible situation for him as well. But the real thing that should have happened, the fight should have been stopped at that moment.
Right. But I'm not sure Dan saw it as this ferocious clash of heads that 90% of the world saw. I'm not sure that he had the best angle for it. You know, also from Aaron Bronstetter, the guidelines for replay are clear, and this entered are clear, and this entered murky waters. That's the part I took issue with, not the ref, not the end result, strictly the procedure. Replay is a great addition to the sport, but how it is utilized is clearly defined, and it wasn't followed. I'm not sure it's as clear as he says it is. The issue is that Miragliotta signaled for replay, but did not call a timeout immediately. He allowed the fight to go on, which led to a fight-ending sequence. Yeah, and it's human error. Referees make mistakes, and I think a no contest in the moment would have been the right call. And I don't blame Sean Shelby for walking over there trying to support his athlete, Kevin Holland, being like, dude, he got knocked out cold
Yeah.
from a clash of heads. But I don't know. This is very unsettling in terms of replay. And some people think that I'm making it more complicated than it is. I don't know. It's something for everybody to learn from, certainly the referee. But I don't know. It just seemed to me like Herb Dean sort of had all the power in this situation to overrule Dan Miragliotta. Go to ESPN Plus. You'll see Dan start to walk back in. Let's just leave it the way it is, walking back up the steps. So for Kyle Dawkins on a Monday, it's like, yeah, he'll run it back, but probably gets half the money. He doesn't get the ranking. And a lot of people out there say, yeah, he shouldn't, well, there's a lot of fighters who don't have Dawkins' submission ability, right? So this all went down with 2 minutes to go in the round. So what if there's a fighter, I say all the time on this podcast, offensive jiu-jitsu is such a lost art. So if Kyle Dawkins doesn't submit Kevin Hall and they get back to their stools, then what are we doing, right? Then are we going to the replay? Are we calling off the fight?
Right,
That's
what I mean.
No,
that's what I mean.
So
right.
What's going on, And that's why I say I'm just a fan. Like, I'm just sitting here getting this off my chest as a fan. Like, what are we doing here? Like, I don't know. I'm looking for more clarity in terms of replay and how it can be used. And, the slow Mike Rodriguez, Ed Herman situation, it seemed like maybe that came at a time. Rodriguez would have gotten a TKO if they went to replay, but perhaps at that point in time, you couldn't use replay at any point in a fight. There was a situation 10 years ago with Mack and Semizer and Robbie Peralta. I don't know. It's a fight that's obviously going to be remade, but it's just incredible, man. It's like, Dawkins, man, I feel for you, bro. I fucking feel for you, bro.
Yeah.
Period.
Oh, absolutely, man. It was a tough situation, and for Kevin Holland, man, I got a chance to hear his thoughts at the press conference after the fight. He keeps it as real as as it comes. He was talking about the fact, he's like, hey, man, the way I saw it, it's a fight. I took a headbutt and I got choked out. I got knocked out and I got choked out as far as I'm concerned. And of course, this is a sport. It wasn't a street fight, but the fact that he kind of almost sees it as he should have been protecting himself, I thought was interesting as a martial artist. But unfortunate all the way around. Hopefully, at the very least, they can run it back as soon as possible. Hoping Kevin Holland is okay and all that stuff. But yeah, just a shitty situation all the way around.
I'm glad you're singing Kevin Holland's praises because he couldn't have handled the situation any better and deserves credit for that, obviously. And he's a hell of a fighter and a hell of an entertainer. And again, if a ringside physician was brought into the equation, you can be sure Kevin Holland's going to answer all those questions, most likely accurately, because he wants to stay in there. I mean, he's a fighter's fighter.
I also wonder what would have happened if they did stop it. And knowing Kevin Holland, if they stopped it at the collision of the heads and they said, Kevin, are you okay? Or do you need some time? Or is this fight over? Are you done? Kevin Holland would have continued to fight. Like, in my mind, 100%. I don't think there's any question that he would have said he would not have wanted that fight to stop, period. Like, he would have wanted to continue fighting, in my opinion. So, again, a tricky situation.
Yeah. And I'm sure we'll have more on that with Longo if he doesn't just hit that snooze button all morning long on a Monday, But I wanted to lead with that, and hopefully we articulated ourselves as best we could. And again, I will follow up maybe on an Instagram live, but after I talk to the commissioner Jeff on Friday, because he's a real straight shooter, really good dude. And again, I love the leadership for the Nevada State Athletic Commission. They really do a good job and they're progressive and proactive. But seeing that little replay circle and everything going on, and then I go back and watch it this morning, I see Dan Miragliotta say, just leave it the way it is. It's like, okay, well, so I guess Dan doesn't have the power, or he was effectively persuaded by Herb Dean, I mean, yeah. I don't fucking know. And again, it's like, I don't need my take to be the most popular one either. Like, I really don't. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, my babysitter just canceled. I got to go pick up 3 kids. Like, that's my reality. If you don't agree with my opinion, like, I apologize. Like, I'm driving a minivan. My kid fucking carved her name on the side of it, and I got to go pick up 3 kids today. Okay. So that's it.
That's so good.
I got to come in on him complaining about picking up the kids. Come on.
Amazing. All I do is complain. Right?
Oh, look. Well, we all got our shirts on.
Look at that one. That's beautiful.
The John Anik shirt that you're wearing, Ray. Oh, God.
Yeah.
Look at that.
2 out of 4?
Must be laundry day. I mean, gosh, But yeah, I got the Ray Longo minute loud and proud. Just in case I run into Khabib Nurmagomedov today, I want to make sure I'm wearing this.
This is Ray Longo when he gets up in the morning. This is the new shirt that just came out. This is
That
not
would be
the Czarface.
That would be a compliment.
So Team Sarah Longo going belt chasing, CFFC flyweight champion, Turbo Typhoon, Pumi Nakuda. Congratulations, Ray. Cheers.
Yeah, thank you very much. What a great weekend, man. What a great week. All in a week. Marab. And, I really believe, like, with all of this stuff, John, like, when you get a performance like Marab had, it just inspires the shit out of everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's sometimes, like, even after Raul's fight with Kevin Lee.
Yeah.
Aljo fought Munoz. I just think, you saw that just all that drama and, shit, like that chutzpah that Al had, like it was crazy. And I think it transferred over to Aljo. He just like, I want to do that. You know what I mean? And I thought he had a great fight with Pedro Munoz, but I think it was the same thing with this. Marab's performance was, so inspiring that don't fucking lose after that, man. Go out and do it.
Yeah, right.
So even Pompos had a great knockout. Pumi looked phenomenal. It was just everything was perfect.
And I do want to say, because I think this audience will appreciate it, having gone back and watching the first round between Marab and Marlon Moraes, I want to say two things. First of all, I love you. I mean, it's still 10-9 Moraes for me, right? Hey, no. Let me just say, though, you're right, okay? I'm here to sort of, I don't know if I'm eating crow, but Marab's recoverability is the stuff of legends. Like, you're right. Like, he actually wasn't really even fucking hurt, okay? So you're right. Yeah. Like, I come here as a humble man. I'm just saying. He got knocked out 3.5 times. And in my opinion, what Kemflo said last week at 10-8 at that point, he didn't do enough to swing it back to 10-9 in his favor. But, dude, Marab's recoverability and any other, he's incredible. He's incredible.
Yeah. Look, it's funny. I saw Keith Peterson at the in Pennsylvania. And I said, dude, just great job on that. He goes, look, that guy did everything I told him to do. And he's the guy in there. He's the only guy in there that's seeing what's going on.
Right.
He actually told me he scored that at 10-7 for Marab.
Right. Yeah.
No. My point was just, I thought it was a great round to use as an instructional round for judges. Like, what do you do? It's kind of tricky because at one point, like, you see Marlon's arm go limp. He might have been out worse than Marab was ever out. At the end of that round, you saw his right arm; it just goes limp, and then he gets punched back into consciousness.
No doubt.
So I just thought, I thought an even round, give him an even round because he came back, and I don't know. I don't think that's out of the question.
No, I think 10-9 on either side is fair. 10-10 if judges weren't so discouraged from throwing those there. I think 10-10 would work. Hey, so it's fight week for Kemflo. This dude's competing at the fucking Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Nogi World Championships on Friday in Dallas. Think he'd let us know? I mean,
it's just scrap. It's just scrap.
It's
not
scrap,
a fight.
right?
Not a fight.
It's scrap. It's just scrap.
That should be great, though.
Yeah.
You know who's signed up already? Do you get involved with that?
I do. I saw there's actually one former UFC fighter in there, I believe. Kyle Watson, I believe. He was in the UFC for a quick second. But some other jiu-jitsu guys. So it's old guys, right? I'm the oldest of the bunch of this group.
Oh, and you don't know any of Sarah's guys are there, or
I don't know. I didn't see any of those guys. There's a Henzo Gracie guy out of Houston, I think, in my division. But we'll see what happens. So it should be fun.
We'll be pulling for you, buddy.
He doesn't like when I put all the pressure on. He can be as high as 188 pounds. Are you repping your own school that is
I'll be repping Florian Martial Arts Center.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Massachusetts founded, I don't know, probably 10 years ago. When did you and Keith open the original school there? In
2000, I think 2006.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, before
the Joe Stevens later fight. Show business. See you, Keith. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. Just having fun on a Monday, right, Raymond?
That jiu-jitsu is the gift that keeps on giving, man. I'll tell you.
Yes.
All right. So Kenny and I shared our thoughts on this whole Kevin Holland, Kyle Dawkins controversy. I think in the simplest terms for me, it's referee error and a lot of vagaries when it comes to replay.
A lot of wait, what was the word you
just
used?
a lot of vagaries when it comes to replay. You know, Dan Bergliotta at one point can be seen walking back up the stairs saying just leave it the way it is.
100%.
But then I think Herb Dean wielded enough power to, I mean, I don't know. I'll get more answers Friday, but right now I'm still confused as to
You're going to get no answers. You know what the answer is? Let me tell you what the answer is, because I watched it happen. Dan had no idea what he was doing. He made the call. And then they want to say the ref is the last guy. He's going to make the call. Oh, yeah, he makes the call until Sean Shelby tells him it's the wrong call. You see Shelby in the mix. Sean's even in the mix. Right. Herb has to whisper in his ear. He can't even talk to him. He's got to try to whisper, this is what I would do. And then he changes it. So he made the call, and then 5 other people told him it was the wrong call. So then he goes and makes the right call, or makes a call, and everybody goes, yeah, he's got the power to. No, he had nothing. He said it. He said, look, I saw the guy fighting back, so I let it go. Right. He saw the whole thing. He just didn't know. Look, I don't know what the rules are, but I would have stopped it right at the headbutt. That's the first thing. That was a vicious headbutt.
I don't think he saw it clearly or as clearly John, as go ahead.
So let's say he did see it, right? And I believe that I think that's accurate. He heard DC say it on the mic or whatever. That's a small venue. But why would you, if you know it happens, right?
Yeah.
Let's say it's 5 seconds later. Stop it at that point.
I agree.
Don't wait. Let it play out. Like 2, 3, grappling exchanges, and then finally the kid gets a submission. Yeah. And then we're gonna call it a submission, and then rewind, go back in time. It's just cool. It doesn't make sense.
No, the fight should have been stopped at the headbutt. Yep. You go to the instant replay or do whatever you want, see what the damage is. The guy was clearly out. It was so bad he didn't have time to step back and go, shit, I just got headbutted, and tell the ref he was out. And then he wakes up and he's in the fight he's fighting for his life.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, he could have saved that kid a lot of unnecessary damage too. You know what I mean? So the fight should have been stopped at the headbutt, which he admits he clearly saw, but then he decided to let it go on because he basically said he saw everything, that he saw the headbutt, but then Holland started fighting back, so he let it go on. And I think that's where the problem is. But dude, this is a microcosm of, I think, what we're dealing with today. It's like follow the science until you don't agree with it. Then you just do whatever the fuck you want to do.
Well, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's like, the ref has the final say until everybody tells him he's wrong. And then nobody's addressing, this is why I get pissed off, though. It's just.
I know.
I know. It's going to go they didn't know somebody didn't know what they were doing. I don't know who it was, but somebody didn't know what they were doing. When I was involved with that thing with Mousasi and Weidman, it's just frustrating. It's simple. Was his foot? Just look at it. Yes, no, stop. Oh, it's back and forth, and it's horrendous, horrendous. And now we see it not to the same point, but I do think, it's, I don't know, man.
I just think it's the emotional roller coaster for Dawkins, right? And
I actually saw Sean Shelby's the matchmaker.
No, of course,
he was he's not part of the commission.
Well, of course. And I'm sure that
there's a guy in the third row and said, "Hey, guys, stop the fight." I mean, it's. Thank God for Herb Dean. That's all I could say for that. I think he tried to.
Why? Why though? Why
he tried to be the voice of reason, and if Dan didn't say what he said, it might have looked a little better. But the fact that Dan was ready to make the call, that he's letting it stand, and that he saw everything, I think it makes it worse because Herb had to tell him. Herb and probably 5 other guys had to tell him, "You're wrong, and this is the way we're doing it."
Yeah,
he didn't do it. That had nothing to do with Dan. That decision had nothing to do with Dan.
Right.
He said, I'm going to let it go on. I'm letting this thing stand.
Yeah, Kenny, when did the referee relinquish power at all of this, right? It's
exactly.
Amazing. Walking back up the stairs.
Listen, John, when Marab got choked out by Simone the ref stopped the fight. The fight was over. And then Goddard, who's not even in the octagon, said, no, he was out. And he changes the decision. The ref had nothing to do with that. The ref made the right call. The bell rang. The fight was over. And that was it. He didn't call the guy out. You go to the scorecards. No, somebody else has to jump in from the 5th row, they know that Marab was out. You know what I mean?
See, there are ramifications for everybody involved, and that includes, this play-by-play commentator who's calling fights this weekend, and I need some sort of clarity, right? So is this going to be sort of a group of people who get to, as a collective, make a decision? I got questions.
I think there should be an instant replay crew. They look at that, and that's it.
Does everybody get a vote? I mean,
I don't know.
Dan Mergliotta's vote would have been to leave it as a submission win for Dawkins.
So then why wasn't it? That's your question. Why?
Yeah, and I'm sure Kyle Dawkins' girlfriend wants to know too, right?
Yeah, right.
Why wasn't working? Because he got
why wasn't Dan's decision upheld?
Well, can I ask something, fellas?
Yeah.
And if the ref has the last right, what the fuck you doing? He had nothing. They told him what to do.
So the rules say the following acts.
You're in The Sopranos, right? He thinks he's the boss of the family. Everybody's laughing at him. This guy thinks he's making a call. Everybody's going, he made the wrong call.
Christopher, you don't know what you're talking about.
So
the following acts constitute fouls in a contest or exhibition of mixed martial arts and may result in penalties at the discretion of the referee if committed. What is your interpretation of that?
It wasn't a foul. It wasn't a foul. It was an accidental. It wasn't deemed a foul, right? It was a collision.
Well, so it's just the Unified Rules of Martial Arts from the UFC website. In rules, the first sentence says the following acts constitute fouls in a contest or exhibition of mixed martial arts and may result in penalties at the discretion of the referee if committed. The next thing says butting with the head. So what I'm asking is,
it's a foul.
Yes. The question is,
foul, but it was
my question is, who is the discretion on? Is it singularly on Dan Mergliotta or is it on the ruling body? That's my question.
It has nothing to do with the foul or the accidental, right? What we're trying to get clarity on, and Cody is aligned with me, is, shouldn't the power still reside, right? You have the benefit of replay and the advice of those Octagon side who are commissioners or referees or officials on that evening. But yeah, this was just messy all around, So anybody have anything else on that before we move on, Raymond?
Yeah, you're not getting any answers. That's number one, because we saw it happen. And it was this. How come? Why are we even asking for answers if we witnessed the whole?
I'm just saying that on Friday morning at 9 a.m. Pacific, Ken Flo, I am going to be sitting there with my friend Jeff, who is the chief commissioner, and Bob Bennett probably won't be there because it's a UFC Fight Night. But I mean, I'm going to probe, not journalistically per se, but it's like I need to know by Saturday night what's going on.
Yeah, we all. Yeah,
but you think that they're going to be vague with me? That's what you think.
See, my theory though is that Sean Shelby jumped in there. He said, "Listen, that's a no contest because then he could save on the win bonus."
I think Herb Dean was persuaded by that. Oh,
no, I think he saves on the win bonus. He's like, Dana, I just saved us $50,000 with that.
Yeah, I don't even know.
You got to listen, John. At the end of the day, you have to laugh at it because you can't fight it. That's for damn sure. I tell you.
And again, Kevin Holland handled things gracefully, but yeah, you have to laugh at it, right? Kyle Dawkins is not laughing on a.
No, Dawkins isn't. But I tell you, you do have to love Kevin Holland a little bit, man. I tell you, it's he's crazy, but it's a sincerity. He's sincere in his nuttiness, man. Look, I root for Dawkins and his brother because they're East Coast guys, and I've seen them fight on the local shows, and they're great, man. They're knocking the cover off the ball right now. Yeah. But Kevin Holland, man, I think he won me over. He's nuts, man. He's crazy.
Yeah.
Like he could shit talk without doing too much of it, where it's entertaining. I just hope it doesn't interfere with his growth, as a fighter, but we'll see what happens.
I think he's going to be around for a long time. And you're right.
He handled that whole thing.
Yeah.
The way you probably should. Because you're not going to
get. Did you watch this main event, Thiago Santos and Johnny Walker?
I sure did.
I know your Boston College Eagles were playing Clemson, so I know you were a little bit in multitask mode. But what'd you think of the main event? 48-47 times 3 for Thiago Santos. I don't know if there's a ton to unpack, except that, Johnny Walker didn't seem too upset when the judges' scorecards were rendered. I thought he could have done a little bit more. I thought Santos won. You got anything for us on what was sort of a ho-hum main event?
Yeah, I think ho-hum main event is a good way to explain it. I think that Johnny Walker had promised that he was going to go out there and he was going to eat his opponent and he was going to be violent and he wanted to kill him and all that stuff. And that just never played out. He was in a great spot to really take advantage of this main event. He didn't. There was a whole lot of nothing, a lot of feints, a lot of movement, but no commitment. He didn't know how to create offense for himself. And clearly both these guys extremely powerful, both knockout artists, right? So they were respecting each other's power, but at the same time, it was just not a good fight. Both guys really very timid, and as far as they not knowing how to create that offense, how to get the other one to commit. And we didn't have a great fight because of it. I thought they got it right. I thought Santos was actually out there when he was throwing. He was trying to hurt Johnny Walker. He was actually trying to, land his shots on the target, whereas Johnny Walker was throwing a whole lot of stuff from the outside that to me looked like it was never going to land. But I don't know, still a developing fighter, but that was not the way to go out there and execute in the main event.
Yeah, I almost fell asleep probably 4 times. No, it was I just got back from Pennsylvania. I'm not even joking. I was tired.
No, I thought, okay, I didn't know if it was because you had extra rounds after the fights or something.
Well, that's why I had to stay up.
What a great program. But
It
anyway.
Outstanding. Pennsylvania, you're cornering fighters, right?
Yeah, so we got, but those fights started at 1:30, so we were able to get back by 7. So
right.
Maybe it was looking. It was I was tired, but that just was. It was really. There's Kenny mentioned something that he's a developing fighter. I'm a little weirded out by how his corner thought he was winning that fight, because the guy absolutely did nothing. And I mean, John Kavanaugh's a good guy. I don't know. It's almost like some guys I work with like that. I'm like, I don't want to change too much because I'm going to ruin the essence of who they are. And even though Johnny Walker's paid for it, he's still a mad hatter. You got to let him loose. You know what I mean? Like, especially in that 5th round. You know what? Okay, look, I think Kavanaugh did a good job at least controlling his emotions, maybe, because he definitely he wasn't jumping around for sure. So that was different. But I think at the 5th round, you got to go, hey, listen, I need that old guy. We need a knockout. Yeah, right. We need it in spectacular fashion. Take a shot. Even if you get knocked out, take a shot. This is the time you got to do it. Yeah. So
I don't think any of those rounds were definitive rounds for Johnny Walker. You know what I mean? You could say that Santos won some rounds, but they were all close. How could you definitively say that your fighter is winning at that stage? I mean, I don't know. I was confused by that as well.
I thought it was totally impossible. I was like, wow, this guy there's no way. I mean, and then I was like, they can't possibly give this guy the fight on that, and then I think they got that right. Santos definitely won that fight. Not the most exciting fight, like we said, but maybe with Kavanaugh too is that it's going to take 2 or 3 fights to get this guy on track. Because I know, look, as a coach, a guy comes to me and they're like, "Oh, I'd love to see. Well, we got to see what Longo is going to do with him." But guys, there's 6 weeks. Yeah. Exactly. What do you think I'm going to do with him? It doesn't work like that. I need a year. You know what 100%. I mean? So I think at the end of the day, we might look back on this and go, look, Kavanaugh had a plan. I don't like, the fact that he thought he was winning, but he should have just taken that as a work in progress and said, we'll keep building, because the guy's got the frame. You know what I mean? He's a big dude. You should be able to do a lot with that guy.
Right.
And he could do some wacky shit. So he's ballsy. He will go for it. So if you could tame him a little bit, and then get some of that craziness back in there, controlled craziness, I think you got yourself a good guy. So I think we'll look back and say, maybe, if he stays the course with John, I think they will try to do something with him. You know what I mean? So, but that fight, 100% he lost. I'm saying, I don't even want to say it was close, only because he didn't do anything. There was nothing happening. Right. And at least Thiago, when he threw with intent. Yeah. He wanted to do damage, but, it takes 2 guys to dance, and one guy looked like when he tried his offense, he was going to win. One guy looked like he was trying not to lose. It's that old saying,
Yeah.
All right. Well, before we let you go, if you don't like commercial airliners to Abu Dhabi, then I guess there's some silver lining. But Aljamain Sterling obviously is not competing
Oh
at
yeah,
UFC
yeah. That's
267. And any athlete, Ken Flo and Ray, who has had this neck procedure, Ashley Evans Smith is the one whom I spoke with most recently. You're not coming back anytime soon. There are setbacks, and I'm not at all surprised that Aljamain was not medically clear. They're going to go forward with an interim title fight, Piotr Jan and Corey Sandhagen, and presumably you guys will fight the winner to unify the belts.
Yeah, look, Aljo's a wacky dude, man. You know, I
He
love
is.
him. But he's fucking whacked out of his mind.
Yeah, yeah.
But I will say this, 'cause
Right. I think I found out before you did, right? I mean,
John 100% knew before me. Like,
right.
even Weidman calls me. I'm like, dude, the guy's fighting. I was just with him. What are you talking about? But with all of this being said, I 100% told him, do not fight.
Yeah.
You're not ready. Your arm's killing you. Whatever's dude, you're not fighting like that.
Right.
That was being said. But I did work out with him at the PI, and the guy was just struggling. I'm like, Aljo, it doesn't even make any sense. And look, to Aljo's credit, he never told me he wanted to fight in October. He was always talking about December.
Yeah.
He wanted more time to better it. And I think, the matchmakers want what they want, and they put the pressure on. And I guess, he agreed because his manager said something. Maybe. I don't even know if this is true. But and then, he tried, but then it just wasn't there. And I think, for Aljo too, he's quirky, man. He really is. But there's a difference between walking around and having fun and fighting. You know what I mean? So yeah, can he enjoy his day with the problem? Yeah. So I think he's nutty for going on Instagram and doing what he's, some of the things he does. But in his head, it's like, this isn't fighting though. Fighting is serious. Like, I got to be 100, I got to be feeling good. I could dance if you want to see that.
Yeah. Right.
He even got some rounds in with Adrian Yanez, who what a
Ray,
great,
how was Adrian over there? A talented kid, huh?
what a great kid.
Yeah.
What a great kid, man. I really hope he comes back. He really misses Saul. I had a picture with me. I have a buddy of mine who, I train, who it was like, I don't want to say best friends with Saul, but he lived in Houston. He was close with Saul. So when Matt fought GSP, we used Saul's school. So Saul was a great guy. So we had him in the back room. He was in the room with us when Matt was warming up, so I had taken a picture. So that's the first thing I did. I showed Adrian. I said, look, man, the guy was a good dude, man. I know what you're going through. And, anything I could do to ever help you, I would 100% do. And he's a super talented kid, humble. Everybody in the gym loved him. I think he had a great time. He looked great with Aljo. They've moved around, not crazy. But, that was the other thing. Like, he was scheduled to come in because I wanted Adrian Yanez. And I said, Aljo, this kid's got good hands. Take this kid. He can fight, man. There's no question about it. And so he had made that before he pulled out of the fight. And I thought he was going to cancel Adrian coming in, but he didn't. He came in, and I'm glad he did because we got to meet him. And he's just a super nice kid with a lot of talent, man.
Oh, yeah. No,
I love watching him fight,
that he can make a run. And if you don't know, Ray's talking about the late Saul Solis, who made a huge imprint on mixed martial arts in Houston, who recently passed away due to COVID-19. He was a good friend of our matchmaker, Mick Maynard.
Yeah, and John, it's that picture I wanted to put up like a year ago on Instagram and say, man, this is an OG of the game, man. This guy was around from day one. You know what I mean? And I don't think he ever got any credit, but he really was a great trainer. And like, again, he's really close with a buddy of mine. I think they were supposed to meet up in Jersey, right before he died. And that was it, So, it's a little tribute to Saul. He was definitely a pioneer in the sport, and he deserves some credit. And I know where that kid's coming from.
All right, I got the odds here. DraftKings Sportsbook, Corey Sandhagen and Piotr Jan. Ray, what do you think? And then you can go.
I believe Corey's going to win that fight, but I'm saying I'm saying it's got to be like, it definitely has to be close. I say Jan's a slight favorite, slight.
So I thought Jan would be minus 160, Ken Flo, and Sandhagen would be like plus 140. It's way more pronounced than that. Piotr Jan is minus 265. Corey Sandhagen on DraftKings this morning is plus 215. So
interesting.
Plus 215.
I think Sandhagen.
I can almost assure you You
Yeah.
won't get that price on Fight Night. And again, I think Jan deserves the distinction as the favorite. but
Without a
honestly,
doubt.
65. Damn. You know,
Interesting.
imagine if Sandhagen had won against Dillashaw on the scorecards. I think that affects that price at least 30 cents.
You know, I think what happens in this, and it's always a mistake. MMA is not linear logic. If A could be B, B could be C. That's the
Right,
first thing. So they're going by Jan beat Aljo, you know, pretty bad at the, you know, he was beating him before he, you know, decided to wreck his career. He was winning. He was winning, and then Aljo choked out, you know, Sandhagen. So their logic is that, you know, the complete opposite of what I just said. That because of that, Jan's going to beat Sandhagen. I think he's got a long, lanky guy who knows how to use that, who likes to fight. I think he's going to redeem. You know, I think he believes, and I believe he beat Dillashaw. I know we could argue that, but I think it was definitely a close fight.
Right.
But I gave it to Sandhagen. He's gonna use that as motivation, and he's super talented. The short notice is a little weird, but I think he's the type of guy that's always staying in shape. I don't know for sure, but he seems like that. So I think Jan's got a really. I think Sandhagen wins that fight.
You and I got to do a bet at some point in time. Maybe this will be the fight, although I'm calling it. But I want my next bet to be, if it's not a tattoo, like to shave off an eyebrow. Because one of the New England Patriots beat reporters, Tom E. Curran, when the Patriots were playing the Jets in week 2, he said, this is such a lock that the Pats are going to win this game and cover the spread. If they don't win the game, I'll shave off an eyebrow. I thought it's fucking great. And of course, the Patriots rolled and his eyebrows are still intact. For me, it'd be tough, right? Because I'd almost have to you have to have makeup on one, or ask the boss if they could just not put me on camera for 2 months while it grows back. But I want to do a bet where loser shaves off a fucking eyebrow. No?
Yeah, I think you and Kenny would have fun with that.
Right. You're too vain. You're too vain for that.
Oh, I'm not shaving off an eyebrow.
Why? Well, it grows back. No, it may not.
You just said it. I'm too vain.
And you got a television career to protect.
I got
extra rounds on camera.
Oh, I got a big career. Big Johnny. Big Johnny. It's a big carear.
It is. Right?
How big is it? How big is it?
It's huge.
It's so big when it sits around the house. It sits around
the house.
I like that. All right, we'll get on out of here. Great day, better evening, all that stuff. Hope you have a great Monday. And,
we got another 10 fighters in the next 3 weeks.
Wow.
So next week we'll go over everything. Yeah, it's crazy. It's actually insane. A lot of good guys, some good guys coming up too. Ring of Combat.
All systems go.
Yo, yeah.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, thanks for your contributions as usual. And when do I see you next? I don't know.
Yeah, not for a while.
Yeah.
I might come to Florida though. I'm thinking of visiting Tony Ricci if I
Tony Ricci living down here now. Sure.
Oh yeah, Shaw. He's got his own car too down there.
Hey, congratulate Turbo.
I definitely will. Listen, let me just touch on that first. Turbo, I don't know if you saw the fight, but he would have finished with a crucifix in the first round, but the bell rang. But then he got 2 more. And he finally got the job done in the 4th round. So kid's got a bright future, just the way he handles the infectious personality. And I don't want to forget Pompos too, because he lost his last fight, but he came out with a vengeance, and what a knockout he had. So happy for both guys.
Yeah. I mean, it's like we try our best. It's like, how many of these local guys, Kenflo, can I track? It's like I'm fucking putting Pumi over, and he's like, you can't forget about this guy. It's like, Jesus Christ.
But Pumi, you got to watch, man. Pumi will be in the UFC within the year.
Yeah, I think so too.
Maybe within a week.
What's the other guy's name?
We call him Pompos.
Pompos.
Got a very Greek Cholapupu Papapini, something like that. I'm going to get his name wrong, but we call him the Great Pompini.
All right. Hey, get on out of here, Ray. Okay.
Are the mics even on?
I think they're on. I think I've had my fill though of the.
I 100% think you're up to your eyeballs. I think
we're good. I think we're sort of exhausted.
I see him falling asleep while I'm talking. All right, man.
Cody.
See you, Ray.
Thank you. Everybody says I'm talking shit on the way out, so now I feel like I have to take a shot at Ray. I don't have anything on the tip of my tongue necessarily, but Hope the listenership likes all the talk about his local guys, though. I hope you really like that. No, but Pumi obviously is on the cusp of greatness. A lot of us really believe that. But if you don't like the local stuff on Longo's, guys, just let us know at AnikFlorianPod, and we'll let him know. A couple big fight odds for you, Ken Flo, before we get to our main event challenge for the fights this weekend. Excited to see Mackenzie Dern in her first UFC main event against Marina Rodriguez. So a lot of big fight announcements since we have been on the air. Obviously, Sandhagen and Petr Yan. Very surprised at that betting line, I have to admit, even though I do believe Petr Yan right now is the best bantamweight in the world. Dominic Cruz is fighting Pedro Munoz December 11th. Looks like Jared Cannonier and Derek Brunson. Dustin Poirier and Charles Oliveira. Looks like that is signed for an undisputed lightweight title fight. Any idea what the betting line on DraftKings Sportsbook might be for Poirier and Oliveira, Ken Flo?
Oh, geez. Let's oh my goodness. I would say Poirier's the favorite heading into that one.
Yeah, Poirier minus 155. Charles Oliveira is plus 135. Couple other fights that have been announced. Marlon Chito Vera versus Frankie Edgar. I believe that'll be UFC 268 first week of November. Any idea what the betting line says about Chito and Frankie?
Boy. Chito the favorite heading into that one?
Chito minus 150, Frankie Edgar plus 130. And then I saved this one because I think it's pretty interesting. Sean Strickland and Luke Rockhold.
I'd say Strickland probably a 2-1 favorite.
Pretty much. Strickland minus 160, Rockhold plus 140. So
okay.
Yeah. No, I mean more or less, you know, that's but yeah, I think that's very interesting. I mean, obviously that speaks to Strickland's current form and Rockhold's layoff. All right, let us get to the pronunciation of the week as we welcome in our executive producer, Cody Merrow.
Hey, best looking fighter in MMA, right? To the best looking podcast producer in MMA. I mean, the transitions make themselves, John.
It's amazing. Amazing how you put
Do you even need me? I mean, Ray's Greek pronunciations are amazing. Like, do you need me for this segment?
That guy, part of the reason it's hard to put over his athletes is because he can't pronounce any of
them. He doesn't even know their names.
And they're all Georgian or Russian or
Nikos Philipposus.
Even as Americans have weird Ally Yaquinta, you know?
Right.
Real gangster.
Notice how he never attempts to say Aljamain or Dwalishvili. We should just bribe him. You give $100. Say pronounce Merab's last name correctly. Now next week. All right. Pronunciation of the week. This fighter will be facing Sabina Mazo in a women's flyweight fight on the main card this weekend. We didn't get into, by the way, Aspen Ladd and all of that stuff, maybe on the way out. This fighter's 24 years old, former two-time boxing champion out of Kazakhstan. Cody Merrow, of whom am I speaking?
I believe you're speaking about Maria Agapova.
All right, let's hear Maria.
I hate when you smile when you do that.
Maria Agapova. Maria Agapova.
That's
a W for your boy, huh?
Yeah.
I definitely would have said Mazo too. So you went with the right side of that. Sabrina Mazo.
Maria Agapova. That's a win. If I'm not mistaken, that's 2 in a row.
Let's go.
For the self-proclaimed easy on the eyes, Cody Merrow. Huh?
Oh, I appreciate that. I don't know if you guys saw my dog correctly picked last night Patriots plus 6.5 for the DK Sportsbook. So cash and checks everywhere for people. Pronunciation of the week, betting with the Patriots.
Merchandise, you just all systems go, kid. Way to go.
If only I could enunciate like Longo.
Yep. Patriots did lose.
Kenny.
That's okay,
Boston College lost. I mean, like they lost. That's the thing. BC lost it, and the Patriots lost it. They didn't win. The Tampa Bay didn't win, and Clemson didn't win. I feel like we lost. But anyways.
But do you know what wasn't losing, Kenny?
What's that?
BTC wasn't losing.
Yes.
Because we're going to the moon, baby.
Going to the moon. Let's go.
Yeah. I never know how to approach it, right? Just because it goes up to 47,000 doesn't necessarily mean I should not plunge if I'm of the belief that I'm going to have it forever or for a very long time, and it's going to be 80 in several, right? It's like I'm getting too caught up in the buying the dips, you know. And as far as the Patriots are concerned, Bill Belichick had a lot of answers for Tom Brady.
He did. They played a great game.
They did.
Yeah.
And if you're a New England Patriots fan, and I don't know how you cannot be encouraged by the young quarterback Mac Jones.
He's a stud.
That's enough about that. All right, today's main event challenge is presented by oddshark.com, the most reliable source for sports betting information with the latest odds, insight, and analysis on everything UFC. I would encourage you to check out oddshark.com/UFC. Get all you need to know before placing your bets on UFC Fight Night this weekend. The Oddshark Fight Center is there. It is operable, outstanding resource for fans, for media, all the matchup information compartmentalized in a nice ingestible way. They're also giving you all the odds from various sports books as well, so you can sort of match prices and see how your price stacks up. And I can speak to the staff and the experts and the handicappers. You all know Joe Osborne from this program, but all of these men and women have been watching and capping MMA for a long time. They know their stuff, good metrics. Check them out in advance of UFC Fight Night. Oddshark.com/UFC. Oddshark.com/UFC. Don't forget the second S. All right, some picks to make. It's UFC Fight Night, Dern versus Rodriguez. Let us get to the main event challenge.
It's the main event challenge. Anik.
The time is most definitely now.
Florian.
I finish fights. I'm gonna do everything possible to win.
The main event challenge. The John Anik and Kenny Florian podcast.
Oh, listen to those fucking pipes, this kid.
What's going on, man?
How you doing?
I came bearing gifts, by the way, in the form of nicknames. First of all, I want to shout out some of Ray Longo's local fighters, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
But John Anecdote, John Anik at the Disco.
Ooh.
They need
I
some
like
work. But the DeLorean Kenny Florian.
Yes.
Motherfucker took somebody out and they go back in time. We got oh my God, you killed Kenny Florian.
Yes.
Another good one. And I can't leave him out. I got Cody Bone Marrow or
Bone.
I like it.
The Da Vinci Cody Marrow.
I like
Fire.
Tommy. T-Mac. Can we call you Tommy, T-Mac, Thomas?
Call me whatever.
We're
the hell you
leaving
want.
all of this stuff in the show.
Oh.
So Cody Bone Marrow. Like,
I like
I
Bone.
may call him fucking Bone for it. What a great nickname. What a
Good.
great nickname.
It's very
Thanks,
good.
man. I appreciate
Thuggish,
it.
ruggish Bone. And I think it's sort of fitting, right? Like, we got to spin it to the positive, but Cody Bone Marrow. The other ones are good. That one is elite.
He
All
smokes
right.
a few of those. All right.
That's right. Oh, there's a good
Yeah.
tie-in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Been known to
Yeah.
smoke a bone or two. All right. So this is Thomas McCormack. McCormick or McCormack?
McCormick, spelled with an
McCormick.
A for some stupid reason.
Right. So Thomas McCormick, if you don't know, and you hear the dulcet tones, great voice, great podcaster, representing the Rushmore podcast. I've been on, Ken Flo, overdue to be on, at Rushmore Podcast. They'll ask you, fuck, marry, kill. Sorry to the children out there, right? Who you would have sex with, marry, and kill.
I actually had one prepared for Cody today, but out of respect for the platform, I was going to offer to leave it up to Twitter.
All right. That's funny. I kind of want you to do it right now.
All right. John Anik, Kenny Florian, Ray Longo. Fuck, marry, kill, Cody Marrow.
Too easy.
Well, yeah, it is too. I mean, I'm fucking Ray, obviously.
Well,
Um,
experience.
I'm probably gonna marry Kenny because he just, look at him. And I gotta kill John. Because I think Jason's better looking. So if it was Jason, it's a tougher question.
Wow.
But-
Wow.
Maybe if
John
I get some
grew out
better.
his hair. If John grew out his hair.
That's right.
Kenny does have the Bitcoin security too, so you know you're going to be well off in the
Yeah.
future.
Well, and if
Yeah.
I'm marrying Jay, at least he'll win me some basketball games.
This guy, man.
Wow.
This guy. I didn't think I would end up getting killed in that equation. But at Rushmore Podcast on social media, and it's great to have you on the program. Long overdue. We got 4 predictions today. We're going to start with the main card opener, fellas, at middleweight. Phil Hawes. I always want to say Haas. Phil Hawes, the -270 favorite against Deron Wynn. This fight was made once before. It shall be done here Saturday night. Deron Wynn is +220 and coming off a win last December, Tom, against Antonio Arroyo. That ended a 2-fight skid for Deron Wynn. Challenges get stiffer here. Your thoughts on Wynn and Hawes in a matchup of former elite collegiate wrestlers?
Yeah, so I actually thought that this was going to be tougher for me to pick because of when he landed 12 takedowns in that fight against Arroyo, which is wild. So when looking into it, though, I did see that Hawes, he's won 7 in a row, and 3 of his last 5 have been knockouts. He is undefeated in the UFC except for that first Contender Series skid he had.
Right.
But since coming back, he beat Kyle Dawkins in his last fight. He is a jiu-jitsu brown belt out of Sanford MMA, I believe. And Division I wrestler. I like him to defend Deron Wynn's wrestling and beat him on the feet, honestly. So I'm picking Phil Hawes in this fight.
Yeah, I forgot that his last win did come against Kyle Dawkins by unanimous decision, and Phil Hawes has found the groove, man. I mean, I think he was hardened in a good way by a lot of the early trials in his career. I don't know if he deserves the 3-1 distinction with respect to Deron Winn, but you can understand why people are bullish on Phil Hawes. Ken Flo, what do you think about this one?
Yeah, listen, I think Thomas has it correct here. I like Phil Hawes just based on the fact that he does come from that wrestling background, but he's much more than just a wrestler. If this was a wrestling match, Deron Winn would win this. Okay, he's very talented when it comes to putting you on your back. But Phil Hawes, his size in this fight is also going to be a factor for Deron Winn to get on the inside and hit those takedowns repeatedly. Phil Hawes is just a much better striker. He's more well-rounded, and he is growing and getting better as a fighter. I like Hawes as well.
All right, next up, featured bout at flyweight, Matthews Nicolau. Some movement, 30 cents since Thursday, guys. So Nicolau from -165 to -195, and Tim Elliott up from +145 to +165. Matthews Nicolau, talented young fighter, a little bit off the radar because he had a huge gap in competition. Outpointed Manel Kape by split decision. That was back in March in his first appearance since 2018. On the other side, 16th UFC appearance for Tim Elliott, who has now won 2 in a row after a 3-fight skid. Number 11 versus number 9 here at flyweight, Tom. Big stakes. Who do you like, Nicolau or Tim Elliott?
All right, so Nicolau, he lost by KO to Dustin Ortiz before he left the UFC the first time, I believe, which isn't, that telling for his chin or anything like that. But he has only had one fight in the last 2 years with that split decision win. I do think Tim Elliott, when looking into it, he's credentialed as a blue belt, but the dude has some scrap. I mean, he's got, I believe, 4, including Ultimate Fighter. He's got 4 submissions in the UFC. He almost ripped Mighty Mouse's arm off in the first round, if I remember that correctly.
Yeah.
He's coming in as a vet. He's had 5 fights since Nicolau's had his last 1. So he's definitely far more active of the fighter. And I think he's going to get his 3rd straight win. And I'm taking him as the underdog. And he has a mullet. So I should get more. I should get better odds. They should pay me extra. And I want to beat Anik and Florian. So I'm taking some fucking dogs today.
I like that.
I'll bet an eyebrow with him.
I'm telling you, I'm doing that. As soon as my TV career is over, we're doing the eyebrow bet. Ken Flo, Nicolau, favorite here over Tim Elliott. Your thoughts?
Hasn't been hard to beat Anik Florian this year, by the way. But yes, I like Nicolau here. Tim Elliott, I agree with all those things you said. I do think he is very underrated as a submission artist. And while I could see him getting the submission, I think this fight stays on the feet. I think Nicolau finds a way to keep it on the feet where he has the advantage. I think he hits pretty hard. He had a close last fight against Kape there, but still coming to his own, still getting stronger. I like him to win this fight.
Yeah, I think he has more upside. I guess that isn't saying much right now, given where Tim Elliott is. But a lot of people left Elliott kind of for dead after that skid, and here he is trying to win 3 in a row. All right, co-main event at welterweight. Randy Brown, -255 on Thursday, now -240 on DraftKings. Jared Gooden +205, now +195. We'll need the round and the method of victory. All right, 12th UFC start here for Randy Brown. Some fans get upset when I say start. They get really upset, instead of appearance, right? It's like, as broadcasters, we're constantly trying to come up with different ways to say the same stuff, half pound, call it a hook, whatever the hell we do. Anyway, 12th UFC appearance for Randy Brown. He's won 3 of his last 4. All of those are finishes, Tom. He fights Jared Gooden. Took him a while to get to the UFC, but he's here. He's tough as hell. He's skilled. What do you think about the co-main event? We'll need a round and a method of victory as well, sir.
I do believe that I lost some money betting against Jared Gooden in his last fight where he did win by first round KO. I'm not going to do that again, Kenny, so get excited. Jared Gooden coming off that first round KO over Nicholas Stoltz, and Randy coming off that one-arm choke on Cowboy Oliveira, which was ridiculously impressive. I think Randy will look. I think he can look to mix in the takedowns and execute a good game plan and win a decision. I don't think that wouldn't shock me in any way, or finish him. I mean, by submission. But Jared has compiled 8 knockouts and 6 submissions. He is a finisher. I think he's going to be the bigger man coming into this fight, and I like him as that big of a dog. So I'm taking Jared Gooden, 2nd round TKO.
Look at that. And Jared Gooden showed me so much in that Alan Jouban fight on short notice when he made his UFC debut. I mean, there's no questioning the heart, the desire. He's not just one of these happy to be here's. Took Jared Gooden 21 fights to get to the UFC, Kenny. Randy Brown came undefeated, took him just 6. What are your thoughts on Randy Brown and Jared Gooden in what is obviously a high-profile slot this weekend?
And this is a tough one to pick. I think Gooden has a lot of potential. I love the fact that he had a lot of experience or gained a lot of experience prior to coming to the UFC as a pro. And you could see it. I mean, when he had that fight against Jouban, he didn't seem like he was overwhelmed by the moment at all. Seemed very much in his element and gave it his best. I thought it was a good performance from him. But Randy Brown, I think, with his reach, with his ability to look for finishes, with his aggression, he's a tricky guy to fight. And while I could see Jared Gooden pulling off a win here, I'm not sure he gets done by finish, but I like Randy here. I think I could see Randy finishing this fight either by submission or by knockout. Talented kid. Let's go with 3rd round TKO, Randy Brown.
3rd round TKO for Randy Brown. And my prediction is Ken Flo on points in his opening matchup Friday in Dallas, by the way, for the record. I don't think he gets the finish. Ken Flo, by the way, Thomas, competing at the No-Gi Worlds Friday in Dallas.
Let's go.
He wants everybody to know. All right, main event. First in the UFC sorry, I just can't help myself. I'm so excited. I'm going to be totally distracted. All right. First main event for the number 4 ranked strawweight, Mackenzie Dern. This is exciting stuff. This is big. She's minus 155, taking on number 6, Marina Rodriguez, plus 135. I'm so glad I don't have to make a pick. I think this fight could truly go either way. There are no easy fights in the top 8 or so at 115 pounds. Dern's won 4 in a row since she lost to Amanda Hebos, who's a common opponent here. That loss was back in 2019. Dern also undefeated since aligning with Jason Perillo. She's a totally different beast than she was even 2 years ago. Rodriguez on the other side won a short notice main event in May against Michelle Waterson. That came after she had stopped Amanda Hebos in a huge spot on Fight Island. Confidence is high, Tommy, on both sides. Obviously, I can't wait to call this fight, but we need a winner. Dern v. Rodriguez. Who wins and how do they get it done?
All right, I'm so goddamn excited for this fight. First of all, I've been watching Big Love on HBO Max. My wife Tara, she loves the show. Even when Ray clears his throat, she doesn't give a shit. She loves Ray. The reason I bring that up is the great Bruce Dern is in that show, totally unrelated to Mackenzie.
I got you.
Anyways, Marina's resume is so good. That short notice win where she was just a step ahead of Karate Hottie the whole time was incredible. Outgunned Tisha Torres, who is literally a tornado now, and ever since that fight.
Exactly right. That's a good point.
Another stat that I found was Marina has outstruck every opponent she has ever fought, except for Cynthia Calvillo to the draw that she had. She has outstruck every opponent she's ever had. Even in her last loss, she outstruck can't remember who. Yeah, she outstruck her by like 12 strikes or something like that. But she has outstruck everybody. She's a monster. She's a great fucking striker. She's a savage. I don't know how you can bet against her, but I'm going to tell you how. She was taken down 3 times by Calvillo to that draw, 5 times by Esparza. I think Dern with Jason Perillo is going to find a way to get inside, not let her set, not let her get comfortable. She's going to get the takedown. Give me Mackenzie fucking Dern, round 1 submission.
Wow.
Let's fucking go. Go Pats. Matt Judon is a god. Mac Jones is great. I had Kyle Dacus, round 1 submission, plus 1,200 odds, ripped from my greedy hands. Swear to God, I will send you the screenshot, John.
I mean, I wonder if some sports books will at least give you your money back when you have a circuit.
Yeah, it was a push. It's a push.
But
all
geez,
right.
that's ridiculous.
Sorry, Kenny. Went off there. I got excited.
No, I like that. I like the conviction with Mackenzie Dern. And if it's a round 1 submission for this UFC matinee, that means
title shot.
Early recreational time for yours truly. Kempfel, what do you think about Mackenzie Dern and Marina Rodriguez?
Boy, I love it. Listen, I could see both these ladies winning by finish, right? I think Rodriguez has a huge advantage on the feet. She is as tough as they come. And Mackenzie Dern, obviously an improving striker. We saw big improvements in her game, but she doesn't want to stay on the feet for too long against Marina Rodriguez. I think that would be a mistake. Not that, Rodriguez is kind of that power striker with her hands necessarily. I think she could knock you out with either a combination of strikes or, maybe from the Muay Thai clinch with the knees. So Mackenzie has to be very careful. pick her shots when she's able to get on the inside and get the takedown. But I think Mackenzie, if she's able to get Marina on the mat, like pretty much anyone in that division, she submits her relatively quickly. So I like Mackenzie here as well. Thomas, you went with round 1 submission?
Round 1, Kenny.
Damn you. I'll go round 2. How's that?
All right,
Mackenzie
a couple
Dern.
picks there on Mackenzie Dern. If you want more from Thomas McCormick at Rushmore Podcast, you also do what, Roughhouse Friday with Brian Callen before the big pay-per-views. Is that right?
Yeah, we're doing those about once a month. We're doing one for Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder this week. You can find that on Brian Callen's YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts, Roughhouse Friday. And then I have my own media company, McCormick Media Management, where I try to be the next Cody Mero. I produce podcasts. I do all the marketing, all kinds of shit like that. By the way, Kenny, I did want to tell you, my co-host for Rushmore Podcast, Pepper Goins, if he had enough Bitcoin to retire, the dude would watch 16 hours straight of BattleBots every day.
That's awesome. Hell yeah.
Also, I think I called Jason Derulo a while ago, and that's ridiculous.
Oh, he's a singer. Yes. Yeah.
How about that?
Two different people.
Two different.
Sat next to Derulo on a plane once, by the way.
I would love to hear
So
Perillo sing.
Is it true, Thomas, that I look like a better looking, younger version of Brian Callen? Do you agree with that?
You definitely have more hair, I would say.
Okay.
And better hair. Your improv is really good. You're a funny guy. I don't know that he could do the BattleBots job. So personality-wise, I wouldn't say so. But you're a handsome guy. He's a handsome guy. You're both very agile. I think you're about 40. I think you're about 47 years younger than Brian Callen at this point. But I could see you growing in. I could see you in about 10 years being a younger Brian Callen.
Okay, he's much funnier than I am. But thank you. I appreciate that.
One of the few guys out there that's older than Ken Flo. Hey, T-Mac, great stuff. Don't be a stranger. And you know, that have sex, marry, kill game really is addicting, right? It's like I find myself thinking about that while you guys are making your picks. Like if I were to turn this around on Kenny and throw Cody and me and somebody else, like I don't think Ken Flo's killing me, but I'm not trying to get killed twice today on the program. So maybe we'll just stop on there. Man, fucking host T-Mac. Huh? I mean, Jesus Christ. No, I can't go down that path. We got to go. Hey, great stuff, man. Thank you.
Thank you, dude. I appreciate it.
Hopefully we'll chat soon.
Absolutely. Come back anytime. Thank you.
See you, Thomas.
Thomas McCormick at Rushmore Podcast with us for the main event challenge today. All right, a couple notes on the way out. So, you know, I had mentioned, I think on these airwaves or on social media, that I felt like maybe Chris or Kyle Dawkins, but Chris, because he's the heavyweight contender fighting a main event against Derek Lewis, kind of needed a nickname because Chris Dawkins, it sounds good, but, you know, just kind of felt like he needed a nickname, you know, not like the cop necessarily, you know, the cop, Chris Dawkins. But so Cody came up with Dark Horse Dawkins or the Dark Horse Chris Dawkins or Chris Dark Horse Dawkins. And Chris fucking likes it too because it's awesome and it's a great nickname. And obviously the alliteration with Dark Horse and Dawkins, he's a dark horse in the heavyweight division, right? I don't know if it's going to stick. You know, Chris wrote on social media, I guess it's settled then. Obviously they got bigger fish to fry with what happened to Kyle over the weekend, you know, but the Dark Horse Chris Dawkins or Chris Dark Horse Dawkins, you can be sure if I call his next fight, we're going to try to imprint that like the no-nonsense Keith Peterson.
Yeah, and if you had the Boston accent going, it'd be like Dark Horse Dawkins. It'd be like almost the same.
Right,
you know, so
it's funny when the East Coast guys, these are Philly guys with an accent that I actually can't do, and yet it has me doing a Boston accent for some strange reason. All right, so that's it on Dark Horse Dawkins. Cody Bone Marrow. Cody, you have to have heard that before.
That was my dad's nickname in high school.
No way.
Yeah, nobody was that creative when I went to high school. I was just Marrow.
His new name is Bone, dude.
It makes me want to sing. Thuggish, ruggish, bone. Cody.
Bum, 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 bum,
yeah, exactly. All right, and the last thing I just want to say, Aspen Ladd has dealt with injuries and missing weight. If you don't know, she missed weight. It was a very difficult visual, and I think it's hard for her to have some of her fellow fighters like Misha Tate, whom she looks up to, come out and sort of publicly criticize her. And I think when you have a prior history, you're not going to have a long leash with people. I will just say I have a much longer leash with women than I do men, and I am far more likely to give a woman the benefit of a doubt than a man because, like, their bodies do crazy shit. They push babies out, and I just can't speak to any of that, So I'm just saying, as a UFC play-by-play announcer, when a female athlete, talks about her time of the month or whatever, like, you have my respect, and I feel really bad for you. And that's sort of, yes, it gives me a little pause when I see Misha come out and criticize her, and maybe some of the other UFC female athletes would come at me, but, I'm more critical of the guys than the women. I think Aspen Ladd needs to get way more ahead of this than she's doing, but, I don't know, man. Like, sometimes it's not as in a woman's control as it is in a man's control.
I'll say this. It's a tough situation. I agree. But I'll say this. I think that when sometimes you can, maybe take your foot off the gas when it comes to the diet or the training or the calorie counting, whatever the hell you're doing to make weight. For men, it's a lot easier for us to do that than women, right? Because just timing wise, all that stuff. So I agree with you there. However, I think for Aspen, she's still at the point of her career where maybe she needs to get a little bit more serious, a little bit more diligent with her diet, with her routine. And, I think sometimes you wait for things kind of last minute a little bit. And given her history, you'd think that she would be on top of it a little bit more. And it could also be that just that weight class isn't for her,
Right.
I don't know. So it's a tough situation, and I hope she gets it sorted out, and I hope she's healthy.
And I guess it was a fairly big miss, and I wasn't there with boots on the ground, so I don't know exactly what's going on. But I don't know. That's, I guess, it on that. All right, we're back next Monday with you. Hope you enjoyed the program. UFC Fight Night, Dern versus Rodriguez this Saturday on ESPN Plus. First fight, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, which has me very excited. Combat and coffee. Then we're back next Monday to preview Holly Holmes' return, which is coming up on October 16th. Don't forget AnikFlorianPodcast.com if you want merchandise like this beautiful Ray Longo Minute t-shirt. AF10 is the promo code for 10% off. Ken Flo's YouTube channel. Don't forget to support Ken Flo. Give him some shouts on social media this weekend for his return to competition. And remember the show live Thursday night with Bilal Muhammad and Jason Anik on this very channel. If you missed the battle for Georgia last week, Giga Chikadze, Marab Dwalashvili, the replay is likely just to the right of this video, so check that out as well. They will be live again this Thursday. Ken Flo, get the scowl going, choke these motherfuckers out, and post a picture on Instagram with the podium and you on top of it. Let's go.
Thank you, buddy. Four matches to take the whole thing. I'm going to take it one at a time, and I can't wait, man. I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully I don't get stalled out. I don't care about losing. I just want someone to just grapple and let's get after it and have some fun.
I get it. Yeah. Well, I care about the winning and losing, I guess. It's your first time competing as Archer's dad. Let's fucking bring it.
There you go. Thank you. I appreciate that.
All right. Thank you all for watching, for subscribing. Tell your friends for listening. We look forward to all of your comments on the whole Dawkins Holland stuff, and we are right back in your lives in less than a week. Until then, don't text and drive. See you later.